So as you can see, this is a very simple product. If you guys are familiar with the BMW 335s or M235s, or are familiar with my channel at all, you'll know that I've installed Chargepipes before on my cars in the past. However, this is a little bit different because this is for an M4 that has the S55 engine, which is a twin turbo inline six. So you're going to be having two aluminum charge pipes, and they actually did come in a box, but I already went ahead and took them out, and so now they're just in all of this protective bubble wrapping, which we'll go ahead and remove. And here's the first piece. This is really, really cool. You can see it has like a nice red paint finish on the inside, and these are aluminum, as you might be able to hear by the clanging sound that they make. So much stronger, much more durable feeling than the stock plastic units. Let's go ahead and open the other. So here we go, we have the second charge pipe. Now this is actually the frontal piece because the other one is longer. That's the rear charge pipe. And this is pretty cool. It has this little plaque on it, FTP Motorsport. And once again, you know, very nice feeling. I really like this red paint finish on the inside. That's a pretty neat touch. And yeah, it just looks like a really awesome piece overall. And then here we have a Ziploc baggie that comes with all of our associated hardware and components to install these charge pipes. So looks like we have some silicone extensions as well as some couplers, some O-ring gaskets as well, and it looks like there's an instruction manual as well. Just an instruction manual, product overview, guide, stuff like that. Here we have some sort of coupler, it looks like. Some more clamps as well. Here's our O-rings and some more hardware. And our final coupler with some more clamps. Good stuff. So overall, I'm super impressed with this product. It has a very high quality look and feel to it. And thanks to Brian for sending these out again from Keys Motorsports. The shipping was so fast on these guys. I live in Southern California, so I'm pretty far from where his shop is and everything, but they came in literally a matter of just a few days. So as you guys might be able to tell, right over here are the two charge pipes. And they are different on this car because the charge pipes actually connect to the turbos directly, whereas in some of the other turbocharged BMW engines, they connect to like a physical intercooler and then to a throttle body, whereas these connect directly to the turbo, straight to your top mount liquid fed intercooler. So this is actually an air to water charge cooling system that uses coolant to cool down the incoming air prior to getting sent into the engine bay itself. So as you might be able to tell, there is a beautiful carbon fiber strut brace that this car uses to stiffen up the chassis. We're going to be removing this today, as well as the engine cover, taking that off. So in order to remove that, we're going to be taking off some of this plastic stuff right here, which just has some plastic screw tabs that we're just going to need to take out in order to access the bolts to remove the carbon fiber strut brace. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so next up, I'm just using my Makita impact driver. It's a small little thing, but it works really well. I have a 13mm socket on there. That's what we're going to be using to take off the strut tower bolts, and we'll go ahead and proceed to the other side as soon as I get those bolts out. All right, so now that the carbon strut brace is off, by the way, that thing weighs like nothing. It's pretty cool how light it is. Next up is to remove this engine cover. So you just want to lift up. There's some grommets that hold it into place, like so. So right here, you guys can see the charge pipes pretty well. Obviously, there's two of them that connect to our liquid-cooled intercooler. Now that we have access to them, we're going to begin loosening them, and I think it is recommended that we also remove this side of the intake. So I'll go ahead and remove this plastic piece along with the MAP sensors, what we're going to have to take out, and then we can begin loosening the charge pipes. So next up, there is an E10 bolt that we're going to need to be removing to get this first bottom portion of the charge pipe removed. So I'm using this long extension with my ratchet and E10 socket. Now it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's deep here, and where you can see my socket is going, I'll try to get a close-up of it on camera in a bit. We're going to need to be removing that. So you got to be careful. It's very easy to drop these bolts, but once you get your grip on it, now as you can see, here is a little bolt, E10. It's easy to drop it, so just be careful when you're taking it out. Okay, so next up we're going to be loosening up the clamps on our frontal charge pipe, and I'm just going to be using my handy dandy flathead. I know the camera isn't focusing, which is kind of annoying, but without further ado, let's go ahead and knock that out. It's just those clamps right there, as you can see, and basically we'll just be loosening them with the flathead. Okay, so there's the bottom part out, and we'll just continue to pull that out. There it goes. All right, and there's our first charge pipe that's out. There's actually a fair amount of oil that's kind of inside these. I think that's normal, like blow by and stuff, but kind of flimsy. Very cheap, hollow feeling plastic. I mean, it is what it is. These held up pretty well. I don't think it's very common for them to break, but anyway, let's move on to getting the new FTP Motorsports charge pipe in there. And before we install the new charge pipe, what we're actually going to be doing, I'll just set this down real quick, is taking this coupler right here, the silicone one, and we're gonna attach it over the inlet for the charge air cooler. So just gonna kind of have to slide it on, gotta wiggle it on a little bit, and then we'll take our new hardware that's provided, these hose clamps, and you'll want to put them like horizontally onto the clamps, so that way, you know, it's easy to tie them down once you get the new charge pipe on there. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and slide these on like so. There goes one. And there goes the second. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie down this innermost clamp just so it has a nice seat on the cooler itself. And there's the first one on there. So went ahead and tied down both of our hose clamps, got this one on. It takes a lot of wiggling and kind of like messing around with the charge pipe to get everything to fit nicely, but once it's on there, it's on, and everything feels solid. It feels really good. So in order to get the back charge pipe right over there, as you can see, it's relatively the same process. You're repeating It might be a little bit harder just because there's a little less space to work with, but first off, we'll go ahead and loosen these clamps up top, and we'll go ahead and use our E10 socket to get the bolt out from way down there. This one's pretty far down. Okay, so our clamps are loosened. And it's coming out. Alright, so I would highly recommend to have a swivel in this scenario. It is possible to do it without, but your life's going to be a lot easier with a swivel. And it's out. Oh my gosh. So you kind of do need a swivel socket, or what I used was this. I have this like wrench that can like bend into a bunch of different positions. Never used it before. It's always been in the toolbox, and today it finally came in super handy and it worked perfect. So it's out. Now to go on and remove that upper charge pipe. Coupler. This is a much tighter fit, but if we lift up, just wiggle out, this comes right off. And here is our upper charge pipe piece. So pretty straightforward. Again, we'll just go ahead and remove the inner gasket that sits on the bottom end of the charge pipe because we need that for a perfect seal. And then again, we'll use the provided coupler along with the new hose clamps and reattach the top part to the charge cooler, reattach everything, bolt it back up, and we'll be done. Go ahead and reattach our coupler onto the top. These couplers fit really nicely. So when you remove the old gasket, you can use like a pick tool or a pry tool. I don't use that, I just use a flathead. Just be careful not to damage it. Here's the new one. You can see the groove right here where my finger is. You'll basically just fit the gasket like so into the groove. Just make sure it's a nice solid fit, and that's it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the new charge pipes are in, and as you can see, they look pretty sweet. FTP Motorsport Performance Intake Pipe System, full aluminum. Now all I gotta do is reassemble everything. So I already put this little inlet back on, gotta put this air box, and then carbon fiber strut tower brace, and then put these little things on, engine cover, we're done. We'll go take it for a test drive, make sure there's no boost leaks or anything. But it looks good. The only thing I would say is these charge pipes are slightly thicker or wider in diameter, right? So, for example, I know it's really hard to see on camera, but that Torx bolt, the E10, when you reinstall it, the charge pipe kind of gets in the way. So it's really convenient to have a proper like swivel or something to make sure that it can fit easily and you're able to tighten down everything. But I was able to make it work and it looks good. So the car is warmed up. Just been driving it around for a little bit just to check if there's any boost leaks or anything. I don't think there's going to be a sound difference. There probably shouldn't be a power difference. This is obviously a preventative maintenance mod for this car. And obviously the aluminum charge pipes are going to benefit from excess boost and whatnot. But let's give it a rip. See if it pulls. The roads are wet. That's one thing I forgot to mention. It like just stopped raining literally 10 minutes ago, so the roads are really damp, and you can probably hear the car just fighting for traction because I have it in MDM mode, so it's continuously just cutting power. because this car just loves to kick the rear end out. It loves breaking loose. Driving it in the rain is it's tough. Can't really, you know, put the power down too well. Out, and this car is so fast, like it's hard to, you know, rev it out all the way before you hit some really high speeds. So you have to be careful when driving this car. You know, even at the stock power level, 425 horsepower is a lot of power, and the 406 pound-feet of torque. But I mean, so far car feels good. Charge pipes seem good, no codes, no air lights or boost leaks or anything. So well guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it for today's video. That is the FTP aluminum charge pipe install on the BMW S55 engine. Really high quality kit, great fitment. I really am happy with this product. Again, thank you to Keys Motorsports for sending out the product. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. Make sure to pick up a set as well if you are looking for some charge pipes. And if you could leave me a thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel down below if you have not done so already. Always appreciate the support. With that being said, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.
This is it, honey.